just because a man who lives on the island, I tell you that they sell a bag of rice for 500,000. Don't argue with him because you are not there. You live in Bariga. Are you with me? They are asking me questions. I got calls. I want to thank Your Lordship, Bishop Kuke. Some call him Kuka. For your powerful speech. Everywhere you go, you have been in support of a great nation, Nigeria. But I'm being asked questions as to the validity and how things played out. Some said they just want me to give clarification as to how I was able to get the information. I said, I'm here again. Go back, let the prophecy start, the beginning. Go back. Let the visual and the audio, please rhyme. I want to show you something. There was something I said. Reduce the volume a little, and after that, are we good? Let's play. Where's the problem from? Your end or their end? They are looking at you, you are looking at them. Okay. No. You have missed it again. Let's go back. Let's have the visual and the audio. This was March. Okay, maybe we'll do a little bit of compilation of some of the prophecies put together before the election. So you will see that I didn't miss my words. I didn't say, there was no day I woke up and said, God has changed his mouth. So some
don't miss words when I said it. I told you what I saw. It will take God. The only person that can stop Tinubu is God.
Stop.
Nobody.
Stop.
No. If I in it.
Stop. The only person. Listen. The only person. I have never said that all of you that are seated here today agreed with me when I gave the words. Even right now, some of you, in your heart of hearts, you are still not happy with what I said. But the truth of the matter is, look at it from this angle. It is not, it's okay. Thank you. Take it off now. Take it off. It is not Pastor Obinna. It's what the Spirit of God revealed. It's what the Spirit of God revealed. I don't know any of them. They don't know me. I do not intend to know them. But I'm getting calls. You speak exactly what the Spirit of God had revealed to you. The very first prophecy that was given, that some bloggers took and now began to speak, cut out, and give in, that was even when they were preparing for, they've not done the primaries. And as of that time, some people said, he will not win, he will not win, he will not. I came out and said something that the Lord told me. Now, some people took that and said I was being diplomatic, that it was too much education, that because I went to too much school. So I was standing like this, so that if the thing change, I will come like this. If it doesn't change now, I will stay like this. All right? So after that, I left it. People will always talk opinions are personal. Then on this particular date, I now came out. So that you can cast the stone. This is what the Lord said. It will only take God if this guy does not become, not a guy, this man, if this man does not become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There's another clause, there's another subsection. You know, in law, there's different subsection. There's another law, there's another drama. That's the one I told you, drama. Write it. There's another drama. But whether this man will not become the president of Nigeria, it's a big lie. Tomorrow is the swearing in. I have come again. God is still speaking. I want to show you something. Today is to prepare you. And I will start immediately by delivering a very good report from heaven, what they told me. Be ready to stone me. All I've been getting from you is different name calling. I was suspicious of something. The Bible shows us that there was a time some kings came together and decided to go for battle. And there was a very wise one among them who said, before we go, let's make inquiry. So they organized prophets. And all the prophets began to say the same thing. Go, you shall defeat. Go, you shall defeat. All of them. Jehoshaphat paused and said, we have heard. But sir, is there no other prophet? I'm like that. When everybody says the same thing, I love to go back. At least let it be that the Lord will add small thing or reduce more. Because everybody is saying the same thing. Exactly. There were many results. There were many speakings as to the election. We must understand and not confuse our wantings and the desires of the Spirit. Because what you want is totally different. I was on my own again when they came. Tell your neighbor, They came. I'm always on my own. Me on Waja. I didn't find trouble. Ha biakwa. Ndemje mona bia. Ndemje mona bia. Ndemje mona bia. Ndemje mona bia. Ndemja gija bia. Ndem. I am not. I'm old school. Where I came from is far. So I can understand your Kirk Franklin. Somebody say, J. Somebody say, J. Not a work for me. Is it bad? No. So, but when we begin to, you just pipe some things. And you are sitting down in one place. You can do that thing for 4 hours. You're not tired. And they are there. They came. That's why my food, you don't like it. Because you are children of Cold Stone. And you sit down. Are you ready? Let me see your hands if you're ready. Wave it, wave it. The message is for us, the body of Christ in Nigeria, and it will bless those outside the country. But specifically, for the church in Nigeria to listen. It's time to honor ourselves. There's no need killing ourselves. And I must commend all the people who gave prophecies, who spoke, put in their ministries and their calling. They staged it. It's in line. But yet they spoke. We are all winners because we are fighting for the good of our nation. Is that not it? If the roads are good and you have light and the economy is balanced, would you be troubled? The sole reason why many of us are clamoring for this person or for this person is because in our heart of heart, we believe that this person, because he came out and spoke well, we don't live with him. We've never lived with him. His speech is good. His morals are good. His records are good. His CVs are good. His home is balanced. And this one has some issues. So we believe that, if we hand over our nation to this person, he would be able to help us. But I want you to know, what produces furtherance in the economy of a nation, that the economy of a nation is blessed, stable, and prosperous, is not how good you are. Because we have seen good men. It takes the agenda of God. It takes the courage of the Spirit. And with all due respect to all the fathers of faith who also spoke and are still speaking, they have done us so well. Because now we know we have voices in different places who are speaking and will continue to speak. But I came here today not to preach my regular message, because I had a message that was prepared to share today. And I think I'll take that into Wednesday's service. The 3 distinctive character and qualifications or functions of the human recreated spirit. Until that was well prepared to be shared, then I had this visitor. And the first thing they told me, the Lord told me, was to pick your pen and write. And I picked my pen and I began to write. And what he said I should share with you is preparing my children for a spiritual transition. Prepare my children for a spiritual transition. That's what I came to share with you. I'm going to be touching many points here, but I want you to know that as fast as you can, follow me, put down the things you can put down, and if after the service you can't, go back, get the message, listen to it over and over again. There's no insult here. I'm not trying to abuse anybody or try to claim that I hear God the most. No. There are people who are blessed in our nation. They hear God 24/7. In fact, so some of us, like someone called me man of God, I said, no, I'm a boy of God. So some of us are still boys and we are learning. But we will not stop sharing what the Lord had given to us. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse number 22. Permit me to start the message in this fashion. Preparing his people for a spiritual word transition. Are you there? 1 Corinthians 1, 22. Let's go. Let's read together. 1, 2, go. For the Jews require a sign. Hey, hold on. Read like people who are alive. Are you angry? Talk to me. Are you angry? You angry? Wow. Why are you angry? If you are not angry, wave like this. If you are very angry, wave the other one. Praise God. At least hear what God said first. Before your anger grow annoyed. Hear first. Then, before you now. All right, let's read. 1, 2, go. For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. Let's do it again. 1, 2, go. For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. For the last time. Before we started having nations like the United States, United Kingdom, the Germans, and all of that, spiritually speaking, in those days, the entire human race was divided into two groups. Still being divided today. Are you with me? Still being what? Divided today. You have the first group that we call the Jews. Give me this in the Amplified quickly. So this was how the human race was divided way back. Look at what the Amplified says. For while Jews demandingly ask for signs and miracles, and Greeks pursue philosophy and wisdom. That way back before you and I ever came, you have these two group of people. You are either a Jew or you are a Greek. The Greek there comprises of what we call the Gentile. The Jews are the circumcised sect of people, while the Gentiles are the uncircumcised sect of people. The Jews are God's own people, God's own covenant people. The Gentiles are not, and they are far away from the commonwealth of Israel. There is a great gulf between the two of them. It's as if one carries a royal blood while the other is an outcast. It was this mindset buried in the heart and in the mind of every Jewish person that made David look at Goliath when he spoke and says, who is these uncircumcised Philistines? The Jews carry a law from God. They are God's chosen people. If there is a people that God is so passionate about, if there is a people that God so loved, it's the Jewish people. Every other person outside that is outside the covenant of God, and there's a way God deals with them. Another strong metaphor that is used to describe these people is that they are called dogs. Jesus looked at the woman and said, it is not good that I should take the children's bread and give it to what? Dogs. Come on here. Are you with me? And the woman, I love the fact that the woman was not angry. She said, even the dogs will eat from the crumbs that falls from the master's table. And Jesus said, I have not seen such a great faith. And healed the woman's child. And she went home, even though she was not part of the covenant. The blessing was not supposed to be given to her, but by her understanding and the application of faith, she was able to get it. Jesus, now also speaking in the New Testament, in the book of John, said something. He said, I have another group that I will bring together with this other one. Which means a time will come, prophecy will be fulfilled, whereby the Jews and the Gentiles will come together, and you are going to have one body that is called the new creation. And it was when that was made available that Paul could say, there is now neither male nor female, Jew nor Gentiles, for we are now what? One in the sight of God. Can you say amen? Amen. But before then, the difference still abound. The discrepancy still abound. The gulf is still there. The middle wall is still there. And what is that? That you have two seemingly people, two categories of people, two houses. You have the Jews and the what? Gentiles or the Greek. Now, the Bible tells us, look at this great gulf now. The Jews and the Gentiles. The Jews are God's people. The Gentiles are not. They are the Greeks. Now, hear what the Bible says about the Jews in trying to, go back to King James, in trying to explain this God's own people. Paul was speaking in the book of Romans. It says to them belongeth all manner of things, covenants, glories, adoption. He was talking about many things that belong to them, and he touched many things. The Jews. But to the Gentiles, nothing was made concerning them. But now he's telling us that you had expected that this guy that are called the Jews would be a seeker and a lover of God. The Bible tells us what they seek. It says the Jew always require a sign. There is something about the Jewish man that if you present God to him and you do not show him the sign, that he will never believe. It was this same reason that was in the mind of Moses when God told him, you are going to go to the children of Israel in the land of Egypt and tell them, I have heard their cries and I'm calling them I'm bringing them out of their bondage. And Moses said, show me a sign. Who will I say send me? And he gave him two signs. What is in your hand? He said, rod. He said, cast it. And he dropped it. Dip your hand in. You remember the story? And he dipped it because these people are sense ruled. They will always demand for a sign. Are you with me here? Are you learning something? They will always demand for a sign. Samson, the mother of Samson and the father had been trusting God for a child. And an angel came and said, you are going to conceive. And he says, show me a sign that is true. I'm going to put out a list here. If by tomorrow it's wet or it's dry, then I will know. They always seek for a sign. It was that sign that landed Zechariah in trouble when the angel said, your wife is going to conceive. And he says, what is going to be the sign? They always like sign. Sign. And the angel said, you didn't believe because he expected you to have acted in faith. He said, now you didn't believe. Okay, this is the sign. You shall be deaf and dumb. You will be deaf and dumb. Since you always like sign, the Jewish people love sign. If you are a prophet and you come to them and you say, I'm a prophet of God and God has sent me to you, they will ask you, what is the sign that you are sent to us? They will demand for a sign. And if you're unable to show them the sign, they will not believe you. That's why the Amplified, look at what the Amplified says. The Amplified says, for while Jews demandingly, they ask for signs and miracles. The other group, I don't know which is better. This one loves signs. The other one loves education. It tells us of the Greek, what they seek after. These guys are analytical. They have a touched mind. It tells us that the Greek, they seek after philosophy and wisdom. The best philosophers, that's where philosophy, the study of philosophy started from. They are from the Greek. Go back and you see them. See the economy, see the way they build things. If they speak here, they will sell you. That's what they seek. They seek after philosophy and what? Wisdom. So why are this other group not seeking for wisdom? Because they believe they own wisdom. What they want is a sign. Just show me a sign that God is with us. This shall be the sign when you go out. The birth of Jesus Christ had to be given a sign. He said, this is the sign. A virgin shall conceive. They say, virgin, conceive. And she shall have a son. And you shall call his name Emmanuel. For God, they said, they began to look for that. They are known for sign. They are known for sign. The Jewish people till today, they are known for sign. That was why when Potiphar's wife shouted that Joseph had raped her, had come to rape her, the people wouldn't have believed if there was no sign. He said, so what is the sign? He said, is this not his robe? The moment they saw that, whether you say you didn't do it or you did it, the truth of the matter is you did it. Because there's a sign. The sign is the proof. Give me the Message translation and you see something. Are you still with me? While Jews clamor for miraculous demonstrations and Greeks go in for philosophical wisdom. This is who they are. They are not pretending. The Jews are after signs. The Greeks are after philosophy and wisdom. Glory to God. That's what they look for. And when the Grecian Empire fell, everything collapsed. What they built their life upon collapsed. Now, these people came to Jesus Christ. Matthew chapter 16 from verse 1. So now, look at me, a simple question. What does the Jew seek? No. What do they seek? What about the Greek? Praise God. So we know what the Jews seek after. They seek after what? Signs. And these other ones seek after philosophy. They seek after wisdom. In Matthew chapter 16, who was Jesus Christ sent to? The Jews. He wasn't sent to the Gentiles. So, if he was sent to the Gentiles, he would have come in with a lot of philosophy and wisdom. But he was sent to the Jews. And because he was sent to the Jews, he had to have signs, demonstrative power, power for miracles. The man must have it. This was why when he told the disciples, he told them, he said, don't go here, don't go preaching until a power comes upon you, because the people you are going to meet and preach to are a people that demand for signs. So he heals the sick. He spoke to the wind. They said, wow, we have not seen it like this before. Sign. And they marveled. The thing moved them. If you take signs to the Greek and you perform miracles, say, guy, go and sit down. But the moment you speak wisdom and demonstrate philosophy, the Greeks will come to you and say, wow, we have not seen it. Balanced society. Put it together. Nigeria seek the three. Our generation seek the three. Sign, philosophy, wisdom. We seek the three of them. They come, they see power demonstration and say, child, more go see what thing go happen today. Then another person will come and say, have you heard that man speak? Say, speak what? Let's go there. They go there and say, wow. Now, Jesus was sent to the Jews. So he must have the power to produce what? Signs. Now, look at what it says. The Pharisees also, with the Sadducees, these are the main sect of the Jewish people. The Pharisees, they are very far to see. The Sadducees, they are sad when you see them. Are you always sad each time you see them? The other one, they are far to see. No matter what you explain, they can't see it because they are very far. So when you combine them, it's far and sad to see. So these two guys came to Jesus Christ. The Bible says they were tempting him, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. It was a temptation. They said, show us a sign. I don't know how someone will wake up in the morning, go to his pastor and say, sir, show us a sign that God called you. That's how these guys operated. They just wanted a sign. Show us some sign that God is with you. And Jesus looked at them, verse 2, and he said, he answered and said unto them, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather. For the sky is what? Red. Do you know what he's trying to say? The moment it's about raining now, let's say it's about raining, and the whole weather just goes dark. The cloud goes dark. You come out and look at it. It's going to rain. And if for some reason, the dark cloud begins to move towards this side, you say, Ikorodu people go here. How many of you have been in that condition before? You know what I'm talking about. You say, wow, it's going to rain in Ikorodu right now. Or it's going towards this side. You say, I land. You go full. And you now start calling your friends. Is it raining there? After about 20 minutes, maybe it's drizzling here. You now call some. Is it raining there? Say, we saw when the thing was moving. Jesus is telling them that you guys know how, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. Verse 3. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. All right? Are you still there? He now calls them, oh, you what? Hypocrite. Somebody say hypocrite. It says you can discern the face of the sky. But can you not discern the signs of the times? You can actually discern the face of the sky. You can discern it. But can you not discern the signs of the times? Why is it difficult for you to dictate or discern the signs of the times? And this is what, by the grace of God, I came to show to you. That we must be able to dictate, discern the signs of the times. That means for us to be able to do that, we must touch the Issachar's generation. The generation that know what Israel ought to do. The Bible says of the sons of Issachar, for they know and understand the times and what Israel ought to do. We must carry a knowledge of the signs of the times. The Lord said to me, a lot of his children are ignorant. They do not study the seasons or the signs of the times. They do not know what they are supposed to be doing. They have blind leaders. Leaders who are blind, unable to pick signals and signs that we are in. The election is over. Results have been announced. Yet being contested for. In the courts. Cases have been adjourned. Inauguration will take place tomorrow. But we do not know and understand the signs of the times. We sit down and just observe without knowing. The Lord said to me, tell your people, it's a time for them to prepare for what is called a spiritual transition. It's a time for us to prepare for what is called a spiritual transition. What is that? The word transition is the process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another. I take that again. It's the process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another. That is, it is changing from something to something. Changing from something to something. It is sad to say this, that after the Civil War, the war that broke out in our country, after that war, the very first set of men from the East who came down to the West and pitched their tent here saw a lot of wealth and opportunities, but never took advantage of it. And they wasted it in the understanding or in the knowledge that the war will continue. They were told, it sounded as if they were brainwashed to believe that the war had not ended and that they never had a permanent place here 30, 40 years after. Majority of them are either dead or old, and they sit down to regret their losses because they had opportunities to own properties. It is believed that one of the most successful sects when you come to Nigeria is men from the East. But you know what it would have become like if they never lost those given opportunities and windows that the Spirit of God had given to them. In the name that don't settle, we are fugitive, we are strangers, don't own anything. So all the money and opportunities that came to them, what they use it for was that they lavish it in righteous living. They just ate all manner of things and drank all manner of things, bought themselves cars, carried women and did all manner of things as though the war will start again. And 30, 40 years after, there's no war. And most of us that are seated here, some of us are parents. Our parents are suffering those injustices that we brought upon ourselves because of ignorance. And it happened again in 1992, 1993. After the election, also, the Abiola crisis, the Easterners again, left these shores of this nation and traveled back to their places. Many of them, on coming back after everything, discovered that things are no longer the same. And history continues to repeat itself again. And the Lord told me categorically when they came, He said, teach your people, it is time to begin to prepare for a spiritual transition. Changing from something into something. From one state, changing from something to something. We must learn how to live and survive when things you ask for do not change immediately. When the things you have prayed for and have fasted for have not changed, don't throw in the towel. You continue to live and survive by faith. When you do not know what the counsel of the Lord is, as per the decrees that He has given, what you do is to live by faith and keep moving. The church must learn how to evolve. And by evolving, I mean you move from something into something else. Look at transition is to change from something to something. But evolving means you move from something into something. The Lord said to me, we are in a season of transition right now. By tomorrow, Whether you like it or not, whether we agree or not. Why I told them to play that prophecy is for you to see the fulfillment of that prophecy. Not because I am for or against, but I am on the Lord's side. And every wise believer must be on the Lord's side. That the fulfillment of the prophecy that God gave to Abraham in Genesis chapter 15 was fulfilled in a strange land. That Joseph had a dream to become a prime minister. People were bowing to him. So long as you stay in your father's house, nobody will bow because Israel does not have a king at that time. So God would cause a setup. He knew that a famine was coming. So they had to be driven to the land of Egypt. The circumstances that brought him there was not good. He was sold as a slave. He was beaten, almost killed. He was thrown into prison. But at the end of the whole journey, God still had to mastermind the whole thing. Even though the equation was wrong, because God could have done it either way, whether with that or without. Even though the equation was wrong, the end of the thing was he found himself in the palace. And when you read his story, he said, I never believed I could be here. He said, you guys thought it for evil. The land where Joseph, the one who was the covenant of Israel, the covenant of blessing, the blessing of the Lord, according to the blessing Genesis 49 gave, the one who held the custodian of the blessing, was serving in the land of a man who had over 400 deities living in his palace. And yet, the Bible says God showed him favor. I came to tell you, whether there is an administration that is good or an administration that is not, the Lord said I should prepare you for a favor that you have never seen before. Are you with me? You may not like what I'm preaching. You may not like and support what I'm saying. But hear what the Spirit of God is saying. Lest your case becomes like the case of those after the war who ran out simply because the war was not to their own advantage. And we lose out. I want you to know that there are many people who prospered in the administration of Buhari. Why there are those who were telling good luck to go to court. Others are prospering, but go to court. Others are prospering, but go to court. They are telling Peter Obi, go to court. He's in court. They are courting. But I want you to know by tomorrow, a transition will take place. Another man will be given the helms of affair of this nation. The power and authority will be given to another man. Even if it is taken away from him after 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, I pronounce upon the church, may you prosper. May you succeed. May you be favored. A hidden king favored Joseph. A deity. Nobody looked at Pharaoh in the eyes, but the Lord caused him to have a dream that he could not interpret. The people he brought to come and interpret the dream were not church members. They were not prayer warriors. They were astrologers, magicians, deities, native doctors, and they also failed. All of them failed. Then they brought Joseph, which means in this season of transition where native doctors fail, where magicians fail, they will bring you two to come and demonstrate your God. And I prophesy over your life, you will not go down in the name of Jesus. Sit down. We are all together. We are here. Are you with me? Some of the people that are clamoring, little thing they can japa, they will travel, they will go. It is you and I that are here. We'll sit down here. Therefore, we must find a system in God by which our survival, I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. By the time they left and they are coming back, those of us that are here would have prospered beyond their imagination. In the name of Jesus Christ. Can I tell you something? Ideas have not finished in God. Systems have not finished in God. Opportunities have not finished in God. 30, 40 years ago, who had believed that a refinery will be built in Lagos? 25 billion US dollars. Who had believed and saw it that a man will be given the certificate to build it while you have 4 refineries in Nigeria that are not working? Let me tell you something. Whether the national cake is not working, the national refinery is not working, it will not stop the personal vision of God concerning your life. I came to prophesy over you. What is yours will come to you. He said I should prepare his people for a spiritual transition. Sit down there. Listen. Why they are going to court, you are prospering. Why they are going to court, you are prospering. The moment they are joining in, you are prospering. Even when they collect their mandate back, you are still prospering. No matter where they turn it, the Lord is for you. And no one will be against you. If you believe it, stand up and shout amen. Sit down. Life is about transition. Girls transit from girls to ladies, ladies to mothers. There are transitions going on right now. The guy was in prison. 24 hours later, he was in the palace. Transition. You wrote jam. Give me a little bit of volume, please. You wrote jam. After some months, you are in the university. Transition. You were single 6 months ago. We all know you. We all know you. We all know you. Your name is Sister Teresa Hope. We all know you. All of a sudden, in a twinkle of an eye, on a particular day, Saturday, your name moved from Teresa Hope to Teresa Bamitokwe. What trap? Transition. We knew you. We knew you. Brother, you were single, living in one room. All of a sudden, we know how you were. You were tiny and slim, like a red biro. But now, after 2 years, look at your pot belly. What happened to you? Transition. A woman has taken care of you. She has given you food. You have eaten morning, afternoon, night. Before you used to fast. You break it by 4 with beans and bread. But now, transition has happened. Are you with me? We knew you on Sunday. You came to church on Sunday. Your offering has never crossed 500. The highest you gave as a seed was 1,000. 3 months after, you are coming with a Bentley Jeep. You are coming with a Benz Jeep. What happened to you? You are no longer living in Bagada. You are not living in Lekki. What happened to you? Somebody shout transition. I prophesy as many of you that will lift your 2 hands. What make men will look at you and they will wonder. It will happen to you in this season. Somebody shout transition. Sit down. They asked that guy, Ebuka, that sang, if you don't pray, Satan will make. They say, how did you come about that song? He said, I didn't come about it. He said, that song, I took it when I was at the point of frustration. He said, I've given up. I was already tired. I've done everything to come out. I've sang all the best songs. Nobody's calling me. Nobody knew me. So he was tired at home. He said, can't you see I was playing polo? It was in my house. If they ever tell him that that's the vehicle that would drive him to the nations of the earth, he will never believe. Because many a times we prepare for transition. Brothers and sisters, there are certain unpreparation that is required for a certain transition. When it has to be God, if you have to prepare all of them, that means you will circumvent God. I'm coming. You will see what I'm talking about. Your marriage, your wedding doesn't have to be perfect, but your marriage can be perfect. Your document doesn't have to be perfect, but your life can be perfect. Your family doesn't have to be perfect, but your record can be perfect. What happens to you is called transition. A movement from point A to point B. They used to call him an ordinary man. But tomorrow, I tell you, whether you like it or not, there's going to be a transition. That man will sit on the seat and become the number 1 man. It's a dream come true for him. For him. For him. For him. You might not like it, but for him, it's a dream come true. What are we going to see in the first 3 months he enters? Nothing. Nothing. Why? He will have to live out the dream first. Come out of the realm of dream, and the reality will dawn on him. Then he will now say, okay, now. When they called Joseph to come and interpret the dream, he didn't know that this is the interpretation, but he dressed himself. Can I tell you today, I came to dress you for the transition that is coming. You will not miss opportunities. The Lord gave me two things this morning, the rod and the staff. The rod and his staff. I will guide you by the staff, but I will cane your enemies with the rod. Anyone that will not allow you enter by the rod of the Spirit, I push them out. This is your time. Give someone a high five. Say it's our time. It's our time. Do it to 5 people. Give it to 5 people. Sit down. Life is about transition. People move. When people move, others occupy where they left. And the people that move occupy another place. There is no vacuum in the spirit. It used to be Mobuari. Tomorrow by this time, it's going to be another person. Are you hearing me? There are 500 people under the sound of my voice. Somebody used to sit in a particular place, but after 24 hours, they will mention your name. They will mention your name. They will mention your father. They will mention your mother. They will mention your siblings. They will mention your family. Jump up and shout, yes! Sit down. I came to prepare you. Some of you have siblings outside the country. You have your husband outside the country. You have the man who wants to marry you outside the country. Your wife is outside the country. Your family is in Sokoto. This one is in this place. They are looking for greener pasture. I came to tell you, the time for transition has come. This is the time. A man will take you there. I came to take you. Whether you refuse by my staff, by my rod, I lift you up. We will keep our mouth shut. They will be saying the man is not good, the man is not good. People are prospering. When are we going to be wise? Huh? It's not your man, Abi. Mm-hmm. But even in his regime, I will prosper. The rain, the water that destroyed the people was the same water that bare the ark of Noah. I prophesy, this transition will favor you. Whether he sit there for 6 months, sits there for 3 months, sits there for 1 year, sits there for 2 years, sit there for 4 years, sit there for 8 years, and another comes in. What I know is this: it doesn't matter the Pharaoh that is sitting on the seat. One thing is certain: you will be favored, you will be graced in the name of Jesus. Sit down. Don't buy the idea of Islamatizing Nigeria. It's a lie. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Whether Shetima or no Shetima, whether Tinubu or no Tinubu, don't buy the idea of Islamatizing Nigeria. It's a big lie. It is a myth, a ploy to keep you in one place. Are you with me? Whether it's Muslim ticket, 50-50 ticket. They said the man that is there that's as a president, that's the lie they told us. He's not the one that they repackage him and he's going. All the packaging is going. They said they are sending this one again to go and repackage him. Tomorrow they are going to find fault. His ear is broken. His teeth is not. Can't you see? It's not Tinubu. Let me tell you something. Whether he's the one or not, what I came to tell you is this: I'm preparing you for a transition. Heaven is marking members of giftings for a throne that is not theirs. You will sit there. You will occupy. You will sit there. You will occupy. You will sit there. You will occupy. God told Balaam, you will only do what I put in your mouth. He did not know. So when he opened his mouth to curse, it reversed into a blessing. We still serve that God. If they pick their pen to write something that is against us, the Lord will reverse it. Anything that they will want to do that will harm the church, the Lord will stand up. We serve a living God. Our God is alive. He has not changed. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. If you believe it, jump up and shout yes. Sit down. Dispensations must transit for another to come in. Generations must expire for another to come in. For the New Testament to come in, the old must expire. Are you hearing me? There must be a transition. It happens every day. Exodus chapter 1 and verse number 8. They want to dupe us again. No way. No way. No way. Whether I like, let him be APC. Whether it's PDP, PFC, LFP, HIV. What I know is that you are a Nigerian and you are under the constitution of heaven. You have no option that to favor God's people. Are you hearing me? Whether it's your tribal man or it's not a tribal man, one thing is that he's a Nigerian. Whether he used to thief, steal, kill is none of my business. What I know is that Nigeria must be better. There's a future for Nigeria, and no one will steal that mandate. No one will take away the change. We have come. By violence we shall take it. And the Lord told me, by the rod, I stand on this rod and I prophesy. Every government that will not favor the agenda of the gospel of God in this country shall vanish like the wind. In the name of Jesus. Look at me. I want you to know that the same God who gives power to see what is about to come can also give authority in the mouth to quench it. That I saw it and prophesied does not mean that God has not changed. God has not changed. Heaven has not changed. His angels has not changed. His counsel has not changed. If they will not favor the gospel, they will see sleep. There shall be no peace for the wicked. In the name of Jesus. Shout amen. Exodus 1:8. Let's read it together. Mandelebo shata. Zepretika pranavanot. I don't care. The darker the darkness, the brighter our light. Oh, when they are saying there's casting down, casting down, casting down, we will shout there's lifting up, lifting up, lifting. Maybe the administration that God is waiting for you to start a company is this one. Sele, are you hearing me? It was the water of judgment that held Noah. I don't care who is there, whether he's sick or he's fine or he's wearing pampers or he doesn't have blood or one thing is certain, may the Lord lift you up. Sit down. You will be shocked now. Sit down. You will be shocked. People will be going to Aso Rock now. Opportunities. They will be coming back smiling. Chai. And when they come back, they have a church, they will testify. Then our own giftings will stay. We not go agree, you. No go agree, you. We not go agree, but we go. We not go agree, but we go. We go collect her. Oga? Nyamukem. Okoba jia kajia. Okenkem ge rumaka. Okoba jia kajia. Okenkem ge. Are you with me? It will get to your hand. Your family has never celebrated any administration. This time, Abatedia, Sapatene Motovina. Oh, I came to prepare you. I put upon you a jacket. Take over. Sit down. You know what God told Jesus? The messianic prophecy concerning Jesus was rule in the midst of your. He says to rule in the midst of your enemies. Are you not hearing it? Don't you read scriptures? We will stay again. Others will be building. Do you know how many weddings that would have happened in the past administration because of hardship? They are going to court. It didn't happen. Maybe it's you that they needed to tell them and say, sir, this decision of yours, sleep over it. It was the wife of Herod that had a dream and told him, wash your hands. Don't be in a hurry to condemn. See from the other side too. Shebi, what we want is for education to work, infrastructure to work. Calm down. Calm down. Let's be calm. Nigeria will never had a frustrating administration like the past one. Never again. And you survived it. And you are now telling me that you will not survive this one. Watch verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Nigeria, which did not know Joseph and did not want to know. How that one take concern me? Go to Exodus chapter 3, verse 21. Exodus 3:21. He did not know me, Abi. Look at 3:21. God now came, and I will give these people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go empty. Can I put it upon you? Starting from Tuesday, by the rod of the heavenlies, from Tuesday, they will mention your name in great places. Hey, stand up, everybody. You are ripe to take over. Go and tell 7 people, you are ripe to take over. Give someone a high 10. Say they will mention your name to take over. I don't care who's there. I don't care who is there. Ebede belekete. Sepetekete lebede. Shepete belebede. Rapatapata laba. Hey, sit down. Do you know how many young boys that prospered in the administration of this man? For the fact that the dollar got inflated. The naira became, do you know how many people? $10,000 become something else. Boys, they build house. You, they go court. Let it not be like our parents. After the war, we began to suffer the ruins. Some of you, your parents would have become landlord. You wouldn't have been paying rent today. They told you don't build. Look at trade fair. Dominated by the Easterners. Do you know that it was Ojukwu that commissioned it and insulted the Easterners? He's gone to be with the Lord. Whether with the Lord, I don't know. But what I know is that he has gone. No, I'm not, no disrespect. The trade fair is there. Do you know how many people trade fair is feeding? You say we should build it in the East. This is Nigeria. One day, that which you clamor for will come to you. But before then, survive. Live by faith. We will not hide our head and die and take our children off school because Peter Obi did not win. Sir, let it be said, was what the Lord told me, that a time came when the people of Nigeria began to fight for their emancipation. But Tinubu will be crowned. But while he sits there, whether it's 2 weeks or 15 days or 1 year or, I tell you something, heaven knows what I'm telling you today. All of you, by the mandate of God upon my life, may you have opportunities. Oh, he just told me again, you are saying it, you are saying it, you are saying it. This is heaven. Heaven is, I'm telling you, I prophesy, take your place. Some of you, the opportunities to build shopping mall is now. Open mega companies is now. You don't know what I'm telling you. Daniel, sit down. Daniel was a minister, a governor in the era of a wicked man. Why didn't God say no? It's from GDP account. We are here again. When will the church wake up? After you have made declaration and you notice that the realm of the spirit, it's as if the council of the gods have not permitted what we are. Let's live by faith. Let's begin to walk. It's not time to drop your shield. No, sir. That which you want will come to you. But relax. Prosper. There were men that put on their native attire on this guy. It was boys that supported the other man. Men supported this one. When men support you, the weight of it. Listen, you are talking about the emancipation of Nigeria. You think you just collect it like that? No, sir. Wake up. Use your wisdom. We need to be men. For I know these people. If I permit them to take the short route, they will see wars and die. So I will take it little by little. You will ascend there for a while. I will use you to reconstruct some things while I bring my man to showcase the thing. Exodus, drop to verse 22. He is the master and extraordinary strategist. Thank you, Jesus. Leave the shirt, whether shirt, no shirt, just listen to me. Are you with me? You are here shouting, I kill them by fire. When you kill by fire and the man is not dying, change strategy. Go back and say, Father, what's going to happen now? Fire not born again. If Elijah had said, if I be a man of God, let fire come down, and fire didn't come, Elijah would have come down, JJ, and said, take me more to go. We came together, prayed, and you think God in here, there's a reason. Calm down. Retire. Come back. Come back and sit down. Don't fly in your ego and pride. Say, sir, Lord, what did we miss? And he will say, leave him to... Imamaya, Imamaya, Imamaya. They will be. Can we clap for him for 1 minute? Keep clapping. In Jesus' name. Sit down. Exodus 11 verse 3. Exodus 11 verse 3. People were shouting, let the black rule America. Let the black man. When Obama entered, people started saying, Oba is sign gay. Obama. We no see well. Oh. Hey! Yes. eze ndị eze na-ezo n'okpuru ọ dịghị onye gị na ya asị m eze ndị eze na-ezo n'okpuru ya ọ dịghị onye. Listen. Eze shetima na-ezo n'okpuru ya ọ dịghị onye gị na ya. Eze Tinubu na-ezo n'okpuru ya ọ dịghị onye gị na ya na-achị eze. Sit down. They want to deceive us. We refuse. We wise up. Look at it. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servant, and in the sight of the people. He gave them what? Favor. Go to chapter 12, verse 36. Look at it. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. Don't say because you don't like the man. Has he offended you personally? Did he come to your house? It was all propaganda and the things that they sold to us. Every man has his gimmick of how he gets to the office. If he used touts to rule Lagos, it was his method. We must sit down and analyze and ask God, Father, how far? Believe me, I see open doors. Write it. Say, believe pastor, he sees open doors. First Kings chapter 19. The Lord began to reveal the three states, the three quarters. He revealed it to Elijah. First Kings 19:15. He spoke to Elijah and said, Elijah was already tired and was telling God that he's tired. And God told him, okay, if you are tired, this is what you are going to do. It's time to distribute the anointing upon you. And the Lord said unto him, go, return unto the way to the wilderness of Damascus, and when thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. Number 1, 16. And Jehu, the son of Nimshi, shalt thou anoint to be king over Israel. 2. And Elisha, the son of Shaphat, of what? Abimelech, shalt thou anoint to be what? Prophet in thy room. 3. Each of them must have sword. Verse 17. Why are you anointing these 3 people? And it shall come to pass that him that escaped the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escaped the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. And the Lord told me something. Listen, those are the 3 spheres we'll look at, that we must as a church reign and pray over. And I came to pray. The first one is the political realm, the realm of the government. The realm of the government, we must have Hazael. The second quarter is the economy, that which makes the sustainability and the stability of a nation. That's the second one. Jehu must reign there, and there must be a sword in his hand too. Just like Hazael must have a sword. And the third one It says, anoint Elisha, which is the church. The third one. The church, the economy, and the government. So long as these three quarters are not affected, there's nothing Jezebel can do. So we are going to pray. Lift up your right hand with me as I make declarations. In this reign and in this time, the church of Jesus Christ will not be affected. Whatever that the enemy has planned to stop the propagation of the preaching of the gospel in this nation, in their time and in their regime, it will not stand. The economy will not suffer. The government will not suffer. We raise up the sword of the Spirit that he shall fight them. In the name of Jesus Christ. Thank you, Jesus. Put your hands together for him. So there's going to be transition. And many will have personal transitions. How do I know that I need a personal transition? After this, after this, I'll pray with you, pray for you. Touch your hands like the Lord told me. We'll close the service and we'll go home. Then you go back home. Sit down. When you get home, just be dancing. Just be dancing. Just be dancing. And say, thank you, Jesus. How do you know you are one of the people that will have a spiritual transition? How do you know that your name is there? How do you know? What are the situations that I will see in my life that will reveal to me that I'm among those that need a spiritual transition? Number one, during a spiritual transition, when you are going to have that, you begin to feel that everything is falling apart. When you are in that state where it looks as if everything is falling apart. When you begin to sense that you are no longer you again, that things are scattering, that you are giving up, I want you to know that you are in a state of spiritual transition. Is there anybody like that? You feel that everything is just scattering. Number two, when you come to that point where nothing you do changes the circumstances around you, even with diligent effort. Nothing you do changes the circumstances around you, even with diligent effort. You have applied diligency. You are diligent in it. The circumstances has refused to change. I want you to know that you are close, very close to a spiritual transition. Number three, when you feel hopeless. Against hope, the Bible says Abraham believed in what? Hope. When you feel hopeless, when the situation around you is speaking hopelessness, I want you to know that you are very close to what? A spiritual transition. You are a candidate. You are a candidate. Number 4. You get to that point where you feel that things in your life are coming to an end. Everything is as if it's grounded. It's coming to an end. I want you to know you are at the point of a transition. Because when a plane is about to ascend, it gathers energy. There's a lot of weight. You are at that point where you feel that everything is ending. Listen to me. There is never a spiritual transaction or transition without a spiritual shift. Every time you transit, you shift. Which means some of us are going to experience a mega shifting in our life. Number 5. When you begin to feel as though you don't fit, like you are not prepared, then I want you to know that you are in for a spiritual transition. When you feel that you are not fit, you are not good enough, that you are not prepared, every day you keep telling yourself, am I prepared? Am I prepared? Am I prepared? Because if you have all the preparation, which one will God do? Number 6. When you notice that God is working in your heart, I want you to know that all of a sudden your heart is becoming soft. He's telling you, go and ask this person for forgiveness. Pray, go and meet this person. Be friend with this one. Go to this class, attend this school, do this one. It's working in your heart. That every now and then your heart is pumping, is beating, is reminding you of something. Reminding you of some things. All of a sudden you stay, it's as if there's a voice louder from here telling you, you missed it. You are the reason, you are the reason. The moment it's walking in your heart like that, I want you to know, don't cry too much. Cry, but don't cry too much. Cry. Because you are not crying is that you are not remorseful. It also shows that so you cry, but don't cry too much. Know that God, you are about to pick up. That's not the time to put a sad face. Good morning. No, sir. Nobody do you. Now you do yourself. Just speak up. He's walking in your heart. And that's the last one. When you begin to experience travail, a time and a season of long prayers, all you feel like to do is just to pray. Bed pangs. In the place of prayer, you've not even started, you're crying. You're there. I want you to know that God wants to shift you. You're just there every time. I have delivered my message. It is time to pray for you. Stand on your feet. I'm done.